the leads and the musical supervisor of Cinderella. Please join me in welcoming David Chase, Santino, and
Never.
And it's Broadway. People want.
Yes, but it's been around. That said, I'm happy to do the dancing now because I can actually do it. But at the time, I was like, this is not what was on the page. And they dance. Like, that's not. And then she's above her head. You know.
But then in previews, there were 2 songs that were cut in previews that were in all the other versions.
Yes. There were a lot more politics in the original draft.
And then once we started previews, we realized that people didn't like that, so we scaled it down. And it's still actually very evident, but less.
Yeah, and yeah.
And then the ending changed multiple
Oh, the ending
times.
changed.
How independent is Cinderella? Or is she, Cinderella's story
Yeah.
kind of changed a little.
one question I have, having seen the show a little while ago, is that I thought you guys did a masterful job, or everybody did a masterful, fantastic job.
It's all smoke and mirrors, people. It's all smoke. Kidding. Actually, I had to take class. I took class. Not in heels, I'll tell you that. That was 4 inches. It's a lot. I'm like 6'3" in the show. I'm 5'10" in real life. That's all I'm going to say. You wouldn't have known, I ruined it for you. Well, I'm 5, well, it depends. Some of the shoes are a little bit higher. Don't blow it for me.
What I was going to say is I really felt you guys did this great job of straddling the fence between it being very respectful of the show itself and also a nod towards sort of modern day audience, so that it wasn't so treacly or that it would turn off a modern day audience. And so I'm curious, did that happen organically?
I obviously cannot give away the secrets, and I hope you're not disappointed tomorrow because that dress was actually designed just for the Tony performance. We do not use that in the show. But we have another full way.
And when that night, the Tony night, she felt like it didn't go very well.
It did not go well.
So
If you stop frame, you'll see her go like this, and then do it
I
again.
missed it, yeah.
She's freaking out. I'm like, Laura, you were in one dress, and then it changed.
Well, it was great. We loved it.
Anyway, it changed to another
And
dress.
I was late, and then I fell getting into the carriage. I fell. You can see it too if you were
Yeah.
blinded. So I was
We didn't care.
stressing about it. It was stressful.
I think we all rewound it.
We did.
Yeah.
So that's all a tribute to William. I obviously can't tell you how it's done, but it was revolutionary. I mean, when they said that they wanted to do the transformation on TV and that they were going to redesign a thing, because they didn't want to give away what we do in the show.
Okay.
They wanted to keep that a surprise. And they redesigned it in like a month and a half, and I had several fittings, and we figured out what was going to work. But it was amazing. It's all held together with one pin that I pull, and it's all released. But I literally took 20 minutes to rig me into it.
Wow.
I had three dressers helping me into it.
Couldn't sit down.
Yeah, I couldn't sit down. I could barely move in it, or else it would kind of come unraveled. So, which is why we can't do it at night, because I have to wear the rig dress for like 3 scenes before the actual transformation. So yeah, it's remarkable, but I'm glad that you were mesmerized.
We were.
Just bad luck. That I just don't buy into it anymore. I don't believe in it. My only stability is the people in my life that I love and care about, and my friends and the people I work with that I love what I do. That's it. And my stability lasts until the sun goes down. Then I start over. And I don't, because you can't, especially in this, I mean, my acting teacher, I'll just tell you, who cares? Both my parents had cancer at the same time when I was in college, which was like a first of like a couple weird things that were like, oh my God, I'm like Job. And then, but my acting teacher gave me Tao Te Ching, this book. And I was like, what is this shit? I do not want this Eastern religion shit. And I read it, and I have to say, it changed my outlook a little bit. Because I was like, yeah, which is all about not trying to grab onto anything. Trusting that you can be like water. There's a rock in the middle of this creek, you can just go around it. You don't need to be like a tree, you know what I mean? And I think the more actors that I know that have done this the longer and longer, have that kind of mindset of like, you know what, it's okay. I mean, Billy Porter, who just won the Tony, He was an idol of mine when I was a kid. He had an incredible, he still has an incredible voice, but when he first came out, his voice was, I remember we even talked about it, it was astonishing. He went 13 years without being on Broadway, which means that he wasn't having a career in television or film. So he had 13 years of not making a $1,600 minimum a week salary. And he's one of the true oh my God, talents. So I'll bet money he's got that. He's like, okay, that day passed, and we'll move on.
Yeah, I mean, super well said. I mean, it's the same, it is kind of strange. Ever since I moved here, I felt like this is where I'm supposed to be. Obviously, the Grease reality show thing opened for me, and I felt in my heart of hearts that I needed to do that. And I had this strange peace throughout the whole process, despite the craziness of the situation I was in. I just knew that that's what I was supposed to be doing. And that door opened, and I got to come to New York with a year-long contract, which does not happen to people. So I embraced that, and I tried to make the most of it. I never called out sick from the show. I took my reputation very seriously. I worked very hard to establish a good one from the beginning. And I have been fortunate enough to continue working fairly steadily, but even I found, I did Bonnie and Clyde last year that closed after 2 months, and you've had shows that closed early, and that's, you think you're going into something with a year contract, and then it closes, and you're suddenly out of a job and out of a paycheck. We were kind of thinking that you were going to have that for a year. And it's just kind of funny how even in the down seasons or the drought, how little things come along. I got to do an amazing concert at Carnegie Hall that I never could have done had I been doing Bonnie and Clyde. I made 2 albums last year that I got to do had I been in Bonnie and Clyde that I wouldn't have done. So it's, I'm grateful for those other opportunities, and you just you have to save when you're making the money so that when you're not, you can just go, it's okay. And even despite that, I think you just learn to kind of live with peace through even the down seasons, or you